It be time for DJ Sterf.
Hey, what's up everyone? DJ Sterf here. Alright, this will be the start of the Chapter 6 video, but I'm not in Chapter 6 right now. I will get there. Yeah! We're gonna get a one-stroke entire course here. Alright, 25 under par. That's pretty good. Alright, so there's really nothing special if you get 9 or under. I did figure out hole 6. I'm still figuring out hole 1, but I can get hole 6 reliably now. Hole 1's a problem. I'm gonna have to bounce it off stuff, basically. Oh, man. Anyway, alright, let's get to Chapter 6. Hey, what's up, everyone? DJ Sterf here, and it's time for Chapter 6 of this Ruin extended walkthrough. Hopefully you're enjoying this so far. I'm going to go over some of your questions as well. You've left me some questions, so I'll cover some of those. I'm not guaranteeing all, and I'm not going to cover all. So, yeah, I'll cover some of those. We're going to play Roxy Raceway Part 1. I'm doing one chapter per chapter of this walkthrough, so keeping that in line. And here we are.
Gregory? Gregory, I made it to the raceway. Are you okay? I might be able to get a signal if I head deeper into the raceway.
Good idea, Cassie. Not dangerous at all. Alright, note that the grape flavor here, the Fizzy Faz, Roxy, is both in normal and AR mode. Unlike some other areas where you might have, like in Gator Golf, you had the Monty, the sour lime flavor, and then you had the grape flavor in AR mode, which matched color-wise, which was kind of cool. But now you have the Roxy area where it's just both are the grape flavor. One other thing I should note, remember from Chica's Feeding Frenzy, I'm talking about the pink soda spray. That one is the pink lemonade Fizzy Faz. I forgot to mention that, I'm quite sure. I watched back and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. So I'm quite sure on that. Here's a see-through couch. You can see through some of the sides of these couches. This reminds me of Snick, so Saturday Night Nickelodeon, where you had that orange couch that was in all sorts of weird places and stuff like that. That does date me quite a bit too. This one's name is Scott, unofficially here. So, sorry Scott, had to deactivate you. You have Hang in There, that's not very convincing. You note that every poster or thing on the wall here, piece of art, you go into AR mode, it flips it rotates 180 degrees. So here, it's like, gotta twist your head all the way around. Alright, yes. I get this item. AR moon mask. Wow. Hope you're excited in getting these items. They must be crazy nice. Here's your desk job simulator for Freddy Fazbear's Pizzaplex. And shout out to Fazbear Entertainment Inc., but not really. Here's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then how many vertical slashes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 at least. Since there's a little bit of choppiness with the resolution there. I'm not sure exactly. I don't think that's intended to be anything really significant, but you might also have some diagonal slashes. I'm not sure how many of those are actually legit diagonal slashes and how much are just a triple slash, just like we saw. Remember those paint slashes? We had the triple slash in the hallways that led from log rides to Roxy Raceway. Yeah, okay, so we have Helpy OS. Apparently there's no Windows key. So that's something there. Got the cheaper wireless keyboards. Paper, high quality, A4. Alright, that's about it. Can't get any coffee or Gatorade or whatever they put in this one. That's it. Just a wet floor bot and an item. So, alright. This wall right here used to be something you just run right through, and it was basically no clip, and that was it. And that all happened very quickly too. So the builds were really, really strong for quite a while in Roxy Raceway Part 1, but then there was just this one build where I started out and I just started running through here, and I was running through everything. I was just like, oh no, it was like everything right there, like that whole line, like shipping containers, barrels, wooden stands, all that had no collision. And I was like, what happened? I think someone just like might have done a mass select and just deleted the collision. Oh man, that was crazy. That was actually relatively late in the game too, and I was like, oh no, what's going on? So that got fixed, fortunately. We got 2 carts stacked up here. This is definitely a place where things are repaired. We have the Fazbear tool cabinet and the tool chest. That'd be cool if this were something in real life. It reminds me of the Craftsman brand from Sears, but that also dates me a little bit. I think Craftsman still lives on, right? But Sears is kind of struggling. Like, if you know how many ever Sears stores are still in existence. But man, we got a little socket on that ratchet, and what else? A bunch of tires. These used to be able to run right through as well, so these have collision now. That's excellent. A little propane fuel tank there, and then we have liquid nitrogen for some reason. And this right here looks like an IV, so I would not take a liquid nitrogen drip even if they say it's good for you. Like, that would be fatal. That would not be good at all. I mean, talk about ice water in your veins, it's not exactly what they're talking about, you know. That's not it. You can be clutch and not be stupid. So, all right. This next part, you're going to have a little bit of randomness in what line you're going to get. It's probably going to be the, do you need assistance? Do you need assistance? But you can get another line as well.
Do you need assistance? Do you need assistance? Do you need assistance?
Shh. Be quiet.
There you go, Cassie, taking charge again. Wish I could pick up that robot head and have the time reset to 5:15 a.m. Remember in the base game when it was first released and you hit 6 a.m. and you couldn't have any saves at all? And eventually it became one big old save station in the atrium, but yeah, you used to not be able to save, but if you picked up the robot head, it would reset you to 5:15 a.m. where the game's like, oh, it's not quite 6 a.m. yet, so you can still save. So you gained back your save capability by doing that. There was also a funny bug with this one as well, where I don't know why it was like this, but after the voice line, the staff bot would just make this crashing noise and just like be back against the wall. And I think he was like holding out his hand or something. And it was like, what? But it was a single frame where it went from this to that. And it was just jarring, and I don't know what was going on there, but that doesn't, I don't think, happen anymore. I haven't seen it since. So we have Torque and Toil here, all-purpose diesel fuel, Raceway Radical, great performance, high flammability. All sorts of random little objects like this, like they did in FNaF VR, like Chica's Lemon Bar. That would still be cool to see. I mean, all the candies and all that also qualify. So like Sunny Drop and Moon Drop, and now Carrot Drop is another thing too. I guess it's just like in cough drop style format is the drop. Maybe they dropped it on the floor, knowing Fazbear Entertainment. Maybe that's why they call it drop. It's not like egg drop soup or something like that. Anyway, we have a staff bot here, crashed Go Kart. Kind of a throwback to the base game, but not exact. Not exact. And this one has seen better days for sure. Good grief. What happened to you? Got the Chica Go Kart. Oh, this is the double, isn't it? Yeah. That's kind of cool. You got the deluxe. That doesn't have a number on it either. Huh. Yeah. That's kind of cool. You got, let's see. You got one pedal. Okay, that, all right, so maybe it's just a, you gotta, which one's the brake, which one's the gas? I mean, I would think that this would be the gas, if anything, but it's like they're two seats, right? Right? I'm not just, anyway. Maybe thinking too much about this, but you have two head cushions here, so I don't even know. All right, let's keep going. So over here, I'm glad this has collision now. For a while, these ones just didn't have any collision at all. You just walk right through them. You're gonna hear some Roxy lines in the background, so I'll let those play. So you're gonna hear lines here as well as in Roxy Raceway Part 2. So we'll come back to this area. Maybe a slight spoiler there. We got a few go-karts stacked here. Ooh, who's the number one cart? Oh, number two. Number 2 is clearly Chica. Number 3 we don't see. Number 4 is Freddy, for sure. What about number 5? This one's interesting because it could be Glamrock Bonnie. What do y'all think? But also it could be Moon. It looks like it's just Moon, so never mind. I think that's just that's just proving it right there. I was gonna say number 6 is also in Roxy Raceway Part 2, and I believe that's the Sun Kart, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I think we have a Moon in that case and not Bonnie, which would also mean that Bonnie would have been replaced before these were made. If the numbering is just sequential, then you have 1 through 4, and then 5 and 6 would be Moon and then Sun. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on that. Got another puzzle here, and we're going to see Roxy again. Roxy's hitbox here is pretty insane, so just don't cross the threshold over here. Another thing on these puzzles, remember that the bluish-green defills less quickly than the red fills. Is that right? I think I just, I don't know. But you can do that basically as a strategy for filling those up. I think y'all figure that out. You don't want to cross that threshold like right here, otherwise Roxy will jump scare you even though her back is turned. Hey Roxy. And she's no threat if you're right over here. But the closer you get, the more of a problem this will be. So anyway, let's go here. We see the cameras, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to pull Roxy to 3. You can see her moving there. These are kind of tight quarters. And now that she's in 3, this is yeah, that sounds like a Gregory line, like legit. All right, so that's Roxy. You can see her over there. All right, bye Roxy. When you turn your back, she will disappear. So, interestingly, you remember the cameras? Well, they're actually cameras, so these are where they are. That's what's showing, and you're just seeing a black and white filter with a little bit of lower polling for the refresh rate on the frames coming from those types of sources, so that's pretty cool. Those are your cameras. And sometimes Roxy would get stuck on this stand right here, the camera stand, the tripod, just the base of it, which is, yeah. Yes, I am hungry, actually. I do need to eat. Thanks for reminding me, Roxy. One warning, don't jump over here. You can get a catch spot over here and then jump over and then end up here. It used to be that the worlds were aligned just a little bit off, so you could use your mask to get out of it. Sometimes if you get in a stuck spot in this game, you can flip your mask if you're able, and then it'll put you through to somewhere where that's walkable. So sometimes you can avoid a soft lock by doing that, but not in every case. So I would avoid jumping over there. That should just be pulled away from the wall a little bit. That's been out there for a while too, so that one I think really should be fixed. We have another comic book page here. We got the VIP ending. We see Freddy's lighter finger. Well, it was supposed to be for birthday candles, but birthday cake candles, but yeah, arson Freddy.
You can't hide forever.
She hasn't found him yet. I better find him first.
This one was funny over here too. This one. So you see the mask is disallowed over here. Well, the reason why is you could mask teleport through this and beyond where Roxy was for a while. Like, if she doesn't spawn in early enough, which now she spawns in a little bit earlier, as you hear her walking over there when you're around here. But it used to be that she didn't spawn until you get, like, over here. And so if you just went through this and then went up here and then warped through the container, you could just skip where Roxy was. Problem was, you do need Roxy to break through that wooden door, unless you try to do a major wedge jump over everything. But so don't cross this threshold again. Her hitbox is huge. But again, I don't think that's necessary, you know? So I'm gonna pull her to 3. And then you see over here 4. You're gonna go beyond what was here before, which that was a El Chip ordering kiosk. Big old menu. And through to 5. All right. Actually, I bet I'm your favorite. Yes, in this case, yeah. Roxy is Cassie's favorite. Oh yeah. There was one misaligned carpet thing here. See that? Just one curiosity that the tile goes underneath. You see a little bit of a flicker if you look really close too. But yeah, this one is underneath this one. You got a full Roxy here, partial one here, full Roxy everywhere else. So that one, the tiling there wasn't done exactly precisely. That would have been maybe nice to put on an edge or something like that. But that is a lot of work. Here, let's look at the menu. We got L chips. Oh man, we're gonna order all sorts of stuff. It's just a degraded version of the one we saw up top. I don't know if there are any exceptions though. I don't think there are. I think that's the same exact kiosk. Got Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday! Yes. So anyway, we can go back to the base game for a more clear view of this menu if you really want to order. There are some rip-offs on this menu as well. If you go back to the base game, you can see that sometimes a small is more expensive than a large or something like that. I got to go back and make sure I'm correct on that. I think that's the case. We see several of these Fizzy Faz orange flavors in this area as well. Kind of matches the orange from around here, the reddish orange, I should say. Here's the camera here. The cameras are reddish orange too. And so is this. What the heck? This must be significant to the lore. All right, this. Please enjoy another attraction. So we're going into closed territory here. Look at that wrecking ball up there too. And in AR mode, looks wacko. This is what I was talking about here. You see this channeler and the cone. They're like really close together. Well, they're a little bit apart in normal mode. I think that's the key to the entire lore of the series right there. It's just sometimes I think that things are just moved at random, not with real purpose. So, I don't know. We got LeBron back here. LeBron James. And we're going to deactivate LeBron James. It's kind of like Lakers colors in the in AR mode, the yellow and purple. Got the porta potties. These are lifesavers at parks. Oh my goodness. Or latrines. Can you still go behind here? Yeah. Yep. All right. You can get out with a mask flip on that one. But yeah, you can get trapped behind the latrine there. It's maybe an unofficial fourth ending is you get trapped behind a latrine and then you don't flip your mask ever. That would be a very tragic and probably not very, like, olfactorily pleasing, if that's... All right, anyway, messing with adverbs here. Yeah, you return into a light, wow. That one hasn't been there yet. Okay, so anything else on this area? Not really. Got pink spray paint, got the soda can. I don't even know. A lot of things were fixed in this area though, for real. And over here, used to be able to jump over this cutscene trigger, but we're gonna go through here. And sometimes you see Cassie's arm there in the cutscene. So that one is a little hit or miss there. We got some Aqua Fresh back here, 55 gallons. Another orange Fizzy Faz vending machine. That one right side up. Fragile. And there used to be a bug with the Go Kart. So you used to be able to jump over this cutscene trigger, which is right here. But it was made larger so I wouldn't be able to jump over it. Because I would jump over here, and then the Go Kart would just be sitting there. You'd be able to go over here and just run into the side of it. And then it put you into first-person driver mode backwards and like locked you in place. So that was a complete soft lock. You had to restart from the last save point, and yeah, that was that. Fortunately, it didn't save you in that state, so you could recover from it, but it was a little bit annoying. Again, we have a 4-2-1 stack. We don't have a 3 here. Just one interesting thing. All right, all right, all right. But what do we see over here? Which cart was that? Trivia of the day. Alright, so we're approaching the, what do you call this? The help, the kiosk. Wait, what is this? I forget what the official name of was this. I'm Englishing good right now. Sorry, y'all. All right. All right. So, one funny thing happened if you backed up into this. Let me see if it still happens. All right, here. Yeah, like...
Ah! Let go! Let go!
Sorry.
So one point of interest here. These doors will close and you can't go back through them. And basically, very soon after, the entire area that you just were in will deload. That's for memory optimization purposes, so you don't have everything still in memory. If you went through from the start of the game and had everything still loaded in, I mean, this stuff is massive, and your performance would keep going down and down and down the further you got through the game. So this periodically deloads a prior area, and one problem was, well, sometimes the doors opened again. Then you just see this vast expanse with like a few objects that are still loaded in, like key objects, but then everything else is just complete like white sky or purple sky or whatever, depending. Yeah, that mess was crazy. So this was a big point of, yeah, that happening. There's another point very soon after through this door that it also happened, but I believe that's fixed.
Gregory! I'm in Roxy Racers. Say something!
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. What happened here? It looks like the whole place fell in.
Something tunneled out. Broke everything. Now I'm stuck here.
I really think I need to go get help. Or call the police.
What? How is that supposed to help? There's no time.
Fine. Am I even close? Where are you? This place is huge.
Down there. Sinkhole under the raceway.
Under the raceway. Help me. How do I get down there?
That area is on security lockdown. Alright, what else? What else? If you want to save your friend, you have to shut down the remaining security nodes in Bonnie Bowl and Phaser Blast. Alright, looks like that's what we're gonna do. She's trusting Helpy all the way. Notice here, there's a little bit of overlap on these panels, so you have that flicker there. And the same thing over here. There are a few spots like this as well, but yeah, very minor, but things like that, it could be fixed to make this completely bulletproof. But those things, like I'm actually okay with those still being in the game. Like, you're not going to notice that most of the time. It doesn't affect gameplay, and like I don't look at this and I'm like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? See, it takes me a while to find too. Like, literally unplayable. I mean, it's a very minor issue, but it definitely is an overlap issue there. Over here, I believe you can still jump over here, but everything back there is no clip. Let's see. That's close. Can I get back up? Let's see. 'Cause this used to be an issue too. Oh, are you blocked off now? Looks like you might be. Hey, that's actually good. And now it's loading. As you can tell, it's jittering a little bit. There used to be a hard lock on this game when you just looked up through here, because I think everything would try to deload. And then it'd just be like, what am I doing? This used to be able to walk through it. This you still can. Yeah. You jump up here? Yep. Okay. Maybe not quite. I bet you can probably still get up there from here, though, in AR. But anyway. This is like a sewer type area or whatnot. Can't really see anything through that. Light doesn't really help at all. But anyway, that's this area. I'm pretty sure you can still jump over that diagonal grating and all that. And this one used to be a funny area too, because when you climb up, it used to be that you could just jump right back down and then kind of go crazy. Especially over here, but I believe that one's been blocked off too. So that's good. Alright, so now we are in the Bonnie Bowl security office, and this starts chapter 7. So that's it for this chapter. Pretty cool. Alright, let's go back. Okay, everything is saved. We're good to go. Let's go through the inventory, wet floor bots, and then some of the questions that y'all have asked. Alright, so inventory. I don't remember exactly what I got this chapter outside of this one. So comic page 3. How long was Gregory working on these? We have that VIP ending. That drawing. Oh, we had the AR Moon mask, right? So sleep. Okay, we already had the AR Sun mask. But this one we got new. Not a whole lot in this chapter, really. You know, not a whole lot of pickups. Was anything else here? I don't know. You look at the AR Glam Bonnie plush. That one's from the conveyor room of the cupcake shop, so right before we get to chapter 4. Dad wouldn't tell me why they replaced Bonnie. And I'm still waiting for the lunchbox, the AR Glam Bonnie lunchbox. That'll be interesting. AR Bonnie Pinata filled with carrot drop candy. I mentioned carrot drop candy. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting next chapter. We'll see something. All right. But anyway, if I've missed one, here, I'll just go through them all so you can see what I have so far. Maybe we got AR Plush Baby? What's she doing here? What if we saw Plush Baby in the normal world? That would be kind of crazy. All right, but okay, that covers everything for sure, though. So, wet floor bots, we have 3 this chapter, right? So, one in the back office, the one that I called Scott, one that I called LeBron, in the where the latrines were, right before you're, you know, driven at by that Go Kart. Then you have the one in the reception building. Yes, I think that was it, right? The help and the reception building, whatever that is. It has some storage area as well, but there's a wet floor bot back there as well. That one was going on during the cutscene, so I don't even know Jessica on that. We had to deactivate Jessica back in that building. So that brings us to 23 wet floor bots found so far. So we'll see if there's any significance to deactivating those robots, as much as we can tell in the next chapter, as well as we'll have to consider whether it was worth it or not, because yeah, that is something to consider. All right, so some Q&A or some information-seeking statements or whatever, but we'll get to these here. R9TS states, let us know your thoughts on the blob being spotted but not being a big part in the game. All right, so the major thing I think about is, I think it was a red herring. The previous base game had the whole big boss battle that you could go to, what we thought was the Afton ending, right? But the 3D animated one, the only ending with that 3D animation, and it was very short, but it looked pretty cool. But the blob carries away what we thought was Afton, and then Gregory and Freddy run away and escape. Interesting. So, was Blob really on our side? Was Blob just, you know, fluking it by jump scaring Gregory alone without the Freddy exterior, or during the boss battle when you had to run across to get rid of the Blob tentacles, otherwise you get jump scared? I don't think Blob is a friend, and I think that's pretty clear. Shout out to Binary Large Object in sequel 2 for Blob. But anyway, so Blob being there, I think, was a distraction, because we thought that Blob would possibly be one of the bosses here, because that's basically what we saw last, and yeah, but people were theorizing already from the Tales of the Pizzaplex before the game came out on the obvious boss possibility that we would see in this game, and you know, most of that was correct. So we'll get to that in chapter 9, but slight adaptation, slight modifications, and all that, but we'll get to that. But yeah, it was maybe a red herring, thinking, oh, we're going to see Blob, or you know, where else are we going to see Blob? But that was the only appearance of Blob that we saw in the game. So, and maybe I'm missing something there too. I don't think I am on that. So yeah, being that early, I think it was supposed to be a distraction. And how often has that happened. But the other thing too, in this game, there's a lot that suggests that one of the other endings is being taken as canon. So if this is a branch off of something, that's a possibility. If it's continuing on and this other ending was actually the canon ending and what was in the files as canon was incorrect, and that would be a retcon. So yeah, but you don't see the internal file names, I guess, is the other thing. So maybe it just wasn't renamed internally and that was it. So I don't know. If Princess Quest was the intended route now, I don't know. I think there's good evidence on this DLC that Princess Quest is the going line with this DLC at the very least. So it'd be interesting to see if there were different installments and one correlated with each of the endings that happened. That would be really interesting too. I think it would be poetic if there were 3 more installments and there would be 5 nights, but when was 5 a limit? Even from the first game? Yeah, there were more than 5 in even the first game. All right, so anyway, yeah, so that's that one. Thank you for that. All right, Mantis says, I've only watched 1 and 2 thus far, so maybe you touch on this later, but I'd be interested in exactly what the process was for reporting bugs you found, and to what extent you were connected with Steel Wool and the rest of the QA team. Okay, so as much as I can say, this goes back to Help Wanted. Scott gave me an early access key, but I was on vacation. I drove up back home and it was like 90-something degrees in my room, had to cool it down, but I started by going through the EULA, the EULA, and user license agreement, and was going through and finding inconsistencies and all that. And I asked Scott, I'm like, well, you know, if I have any bugs, who do I submit them to? And Scott was like, okay, send them to Steel Wool. So that's how we got connected. He set me up with this big old thread or whatever. So first big chunk that I sent in was 116 bugs. And yeah, that is just a big old email. And so they got to work on that, and they fixed a lot of the issues. There are still some game breakers in the game. I hope they do fix still. I didn't get any special thanks on that, but at the same time, I mean, I didn't help out nearly as much on that as I did with this game for sure. This was more of a concerted effort for sure. But anyway, so I had familiarity with them, and a few others that weren't involved in this too. Like they're still at Steel Wool, but we had all good interactions and all that, so that was cool. We played Among Us on the Donko stream. I mean, we've done a few things, but not much. But anyway, with this game, I guess another point in there too, security breach. I sent an email during the pandemic, and I think it just got lost. It was during a rough time in the community too, but like, I think it just got lost where I was like, hey, let me know if you want help with this, because I see this is a really big project. And it was taking longer than expected too. And I know the pandemic also kind of threw a monkey wrench into all that as well. But security breach came out, and it's just so buggy, it was ridiculous. And they know that too. I mean, they don't want that to happen again. Like, they want to put out quality stuff. I think that's clear. Like, they want to do the very best, top-notch stuff, but their skills are much more in the cinematic and production side of things, as opposed to making something a robust gameplay experience that everyone's going to love. So whether controls are clunky, or the mappings aren't smart, or they're just not like intuitive, or you know, whatever it is, they're growing in that realm. So I think this is a good step with Ruin. But I was trying to help out with security breach. Didn't work out. Just no one got that. And then Ruin was going to be a thing, and Scott sent me an email. He said, this is important to me. Like, let's get you on this project and all that. They'd already been working on it for about a year. And I went in, and I guess the thing is too, it was earlier in March when I was being put on this product, but the first build that I got that was like robust and testable and all that was late March. So late March I started testing. They had an external bug spreadsheet, and so I won't reveal all the details and all that, but I mean, like the main stuff, when you file in bugs, you always put in the severity of the bug, you put in the state of the bug, you have to update that based on whether it's fixed or not, or whether you see it again, or whether it's worse or better or whatever. A description of the bug, so something just very, you know, basic description. Then you had the build, you first saw it. I put in another column for the latest build that it was found in, so I'd have that for reference as well. I put in some conditional formatting so everything was, you know, color-coded and easy to do. I put in some pivot tables so you could go through each section and then everything would update accordingly based on an area. So everything was filtered and pretty intuitive. There was an actual outcome, expected outcome. There was a media link. This is very standard stuff. But I sent in on just about everything, either a document or video or screenshot, whichever one was the best for that. So I think there was only like 1 or 2 bugs. Really had to ask for clarification, so I think I did a pretty good job of that. But the repro steps were the worst because those are a numbered list, and basically it's restating everything that you said a few times already. So there was some redundancy there. Some of that is useful, but some of that is frustrating for putting in so many. So the hope was for me to put in about 30 a day if I found 30, and it just added up, and eventually I had over 2,000, and man, that was a lot of work. So anyway, so after Scott put me on the project, I met with the Steel Wool execs, and then we just kind of went over the kind of philosophy of what they wanted in the game, and they definitely didn't want it to be like Security Breach, the base game on release. So yeah, and with QA, they have several other studios contracted out, and like they're helping out with Ruin. So you go to the credits and you can see all of that. So like Baba Roga and Amber Studio and all that. So yeah, they were involved with that too. But people internally would go through the bugs that I sent in, and mostly the QA manager and the lead QA, but also I think the lead tech and several others on the other studios as well would go through and get them entered in their system, and then, you know, filtered out. Like some were going to be duplicates, of course. I mean, some of the obvious bugs and all that I'm sure were reported, and if they weren't fixed for a while, then they've probably been there a while. And so I don't know, it's just filtering out stuff so they're not duplicate, they're not useless, like they're easy to work with, basically. So yeah, it's just basically someone who's working externally and just throwing in a bunch of stuff, but they weren't expecting that many, I guess. I did a training session for their QA, so they have that in their, I guess, like their toolkit if they want to refer to that. But just going over how I generally go through break stuff, my approach and all that. I mean, a lot of it is just free-flowing. A lot of it is just what would be the funniest thing that you can think of, and that's a lot of times what I think about when I go through QA. And I find some of these bugs funny when I go through. They become less funny as you get closer to release, so that's the thing. Like, you want to fix the bugs when they're still funny, and then when before you get to release, and then you're frustrated by them because people are complaining about them. So yeah, that type of thing. But there's a such thing as white box and black box testing. There are two different approaches. So white box testing, you have basically a view through to the code underneath, or access to the developers who can tell you exactly what's going on. I didn't have that luxury. I work best with white box testing because I can look at the code and find the cause and suggest a fix with the bugs that I send in. So like at my workplace, that's been a very popular thing because I'm kind of a hybrid dev QA. Most of everything that I do is automation. So within the context of testing, I'm just coding so that I don't have to test again the same route. It's just all automated, and then I go through regression testing, and it's like, okay, cool. I'll just, you know, click a button or just schedule it up, and I won't even have to click a button. It'll run on a schedule. So yeah, but I do best finding stuff in the code, and then yeah, reporting that back like, hey, here's how you fix it. I'm like, cool, all right, we're done, next one. But I didn't have that luxury here. I was just black box testing, and didn't have access to any of the intents. So a lot of the things I'd be like, well, if this is the intent, then this is a bug. If this is not the intent, so a lot of that was conditional. So I didn't get a lot of lore reveals and all that. But anyway, I don't personally care about that as much, man. Like, I don't even know. So yeah, I worked really hard. That was a lot of stuff. So in the midst of that, I was training for Juggling, so World Juggling Championships. Got 8 gold medals. That was cool. 8 events, 8 gold medals. That's the best I could have done. That was great. And then I also made the 3D printed medals for that. So I made 380 of those. So this was a jam-packed, like while working full-time, jam-packed several months. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I'm still defragging a little bit, I guess, is the thing. So all right, so that's a good answer to that question, I think. Yeah, they're good to work with. It was a lot of stuff to go through, though. It was a lot of stuff to go through. And the thing is, too, like the test-driven development, I do very well with that as well. Like, if I worked one-on-one with a developer, I could have gone through and with that developer fixed a whole lot very, very quickly, and even more quickly than what I went through with this. Like, I can find stuff, point stuff out, and show exactly what I mean. Yeah. So the approach could have been a little bit better, I think, a little more efficient, but I think they know that too. All right, that's a good answer to that one. All right, cool. Mangulation, curious to know what your initial reaction to the game was when you first saw it. Did you play through blind before trying to break the game? Playing through blind. I mean, I hadn't seen it before. I just got the basic statement, like, this is what we're trying to do. And that's it. And the thing is, the thing they told me was different from my impression of the game. Like, I get what they were saying, but it wasn't my first impression. I thought it was pretty cool. Like, how much stuff there was on a free DLC was also crazy to me, because my speed run was just about as long as the full game escape route, and that was crazy to me. Like, there was so much stuff. They eliminated a lot of the problems with the open world and lack of clear direction, and just, I didn't have a problem with that at all. So a lot of the things that were very negative in the base game were very positively changed in this DLC. So I'm very proud of them for that. So they did a good job with that. Did I play through blind? Yeah, I hadn't seen it before. Like, I mean, people hadn't been doing playthroughs. I didn't see anyone play the game before it, so I didn't have any access to that either. So no one else was telling me secrets about the game either. So I found everything myself as well. No one would give me any hints either. So I found everything myself, 100%. But that's another thing too. Like, you can see whether people can find it based on what QA can find natively without being told. So Scott did that with me with Freddy in Space 2. The funny thing was, I found, it was like an hour before the stream, to find like the golden pizza, the way to get it. That was crazy. Like, oh man, that was an insane time. All right. Anyway, that's a different story, different day. Okay. What else? Ethan, I'm interested in a separate video on how to get low scores on Monty Golf, similar to the video we did on Course 1. Okay, and part 2? I went through and got an 11 strokes. I did find the way to get hole 6, so I'll probably put a clip of that. Maybe I'll do that next chapter or something. But yeah, chapter 6 I have not chapter 6, hole 6 I have a reliable way of getting a hole 1 now, so and I need to remember that. I did record it so I can go back and reference that, but hole 1 I'm still working on. I would have to either fluke it or just, yeah, I don't know if I can get a reliable and like reproducible way of getting a hole-in-one on that one, just because I don't have the debug menu. Like, if you increase the possible strength of your shot, then yes, you can get there easily. But yeah, getting there, you'd have to bounce it off probably the side of the gear to get there, would be my guess. That's gonna be crazy. Okay. Attack Titan, can you explain how the Entity Rabbit jump scares work? Because it takes a certain time before you die, and it also takes a certain time for it to spawn an animatronic. Think of it as a anger or toxicity meter. The more you have it on, the more likely M.X.E.S Rabbit is supposed to be able to appear. I think there are some sections that it's a little more sensitive, like that the Glamrock Salon. I think Entity or M.X.E.S Rabbit appears much more quickly, and I think the effect there is he's basically there the entire time you're in the cam station. I think that's the intended effect on that one. So I think per area there is an allowance, and then if you stay too close to M.X.E.S Rabbit, then he can lock in your like mask, so you can't. You have to run away to past a certain radius in order to take off the mask again. So it becomes a matter of, okay, well, I can't just take off my mask now. I have to actually get away from this rabbit before I'm able to even take off my mask. So it becomes a bigger threat the longer you're there. Once the animatronic is there, it's based on path away. So if you get far enough away from one of those animatronics, or if like the rage timer cools down enough, then that animatronic will just disappear. So that's another thing. And with the catwalks, I say like length of the path, because Monty can be like right across the way from you, but if there's nothing that connects it, the path that it takes is very long. So you can see Monty just disappear after a while. I wish it were more like a fade out. So I think I've stated that before. Yeah, they know about it. All right. yeah, so it's just a matter of anger builds up the longer you have the AR mask on, and then you have to let the anger cool down. Yeah. Alright, what else? I think that was specific enough, I think. Mike, do you prefer open world style like in the main game, or explicitly linear? I think that's what you meant, like in Ruin. I kind of like both, but I like the linear approach here a little bit more. Maybe some of the objects could have been more explorable, and I noted some areas where there was like complete like wall block off on some of the objects, as opposed to the ability to jump and kind of just mess around. That's kind of one of the fun things. You just kind of, you know, shoot the breeze, jump around on all sorts of random objects and all that. You can explore all sorts of stuff. The box array in the lobby was another one. You used to be able to climb up on that and all that, but there was a pretty annoying bug with that. But they just blocked the entire thing off, and I'm like, well, that's not cool. But they kept some of that type of like preventive thing with that thing going on with some of the objects and all that. So I don't know. I wish it were a little more explorable, I think, is what I'm getting at with that one. A lot of it was just blocking off entire sections as a result of bugs. And that's not what I was hoping for. But anyway, like the open world has its purpose, and I got used to where things were, but at the start, like, and with the lag, like I'd get turned around and not even know it. And it was a mess. So yeah, this one's better, but I think open world could be a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with Security Breach too, and all the different routes you could take. LTWPE says perfect, cool. Sam, is there anything you suggested for changes in the lines of the characters? The lines of, you mean like voice lines? If so, then yes. Cassie sometimes has a very open and interactive type of sassiness going on, and like when she complains about not being able to take off the mask when she's in the server room, but then she gets out of the server room and now can take off the mask, there's no comment that Cassie makes after being able to take off the mask, like, oh, finally, like I can finally take off this mask. What was that? Or so, you know, something that would follow up and continue the, you know, to the player internal dialogue of Cassie is still outspoken and annoyed with this, that type of thing. There are a few spots like that. Maybe some of the subtitling was another thing, where the subtitles, I wish there were full lines. And some portions of the game, there are several lines at once and all that. Those are better subtitles than fragments of sentences, or in the case of the elevator, whether or not that's on purpose or not, some things may be lagging a little bit. So yeah, anyway, that's a separate matter. I made a suggestion about one of the dialogues of Sun, actually a few, but they did put one of those back in, which I was very glad to see in the final product. I didn't, like a lot of times I would submit something and their solution was to remove it, and I was like, well, I didn't mean to remove it, like just fix this part. But anyway, not a majority of things, but some of those things, but they did put that one back in particular. Specifically, not me, the other me. So anyway, I think that's a cool line. So I'm glad that's back in the game. What else? Funniest bug? Funniest bug, oh boy. I mean, I know what that would be, but like, maybe I'll discuss it another time. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. That's it. There's definitely a funniest one for sure. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. This was Chapter 6 of this extended walkthrough. I hope you enjoyed, and that's about it. So, yep, see you next time.
Attention! This is Fredbear at FNaF Command, reminding you that if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like, comment, and subscribe, ring the bell, do everything. It's complicated how YouTube makes things.